The high mountains are one of the last true wildernesses on our planet. Standing on a peak surrounded by a sea of white, you feel a sense of peace that is hard to find anywhere else. The air is crisp and clean, the silence is profound, and the views are absolutely breathtaking. Every direction you look, you see majestic summits covered in a brilliant blanket of snow. This is nature at its most pure, its most magnificent. It's a place that calls to the adventurer in all of us, promising challenge, beauty, and a connection to something much bigger than ourselves. This incredible environment makes you feel alive, testing your limits and rewarding you with unforgettable moments. But this beauty hides a raw and unforgiving power. The mountains can turn on you in an instant, and you must always respect that. One moment you are carving through perfect powder snow, feeling the thrill of the descent, and the next, the world beneath your feet can shatter. A deep, guttural crack echoes across the valley, a sound that strikes fear into the heart of even the most experienced mountaineer. The pristine white slope fractures, and a wave of snow begins its unstoppable journey downwards. This is the mountain showing its other face, the one that is wild, unpredictable, and incredibly dangerous. Your survival depends entirely on your knowledge, your preparation, and your will to live. This sudden shift from serene beauty to life-threatening chaos is what makes Avalanche country so formidable. The very snow that provides so much joy can become your greatest enemy. It's a reminder that we are only visitors in this powerful landscape. We don't conquer mountains, we are merely allowed to climb them, and only if we show them the proper respect. Understanding this duality is the first step to staying safe. You must appreciate the beauty, but never, ever underestimate the danger that lies dormant just beneath the surface. It's a lesson that nature teaches with brutal efficiency, and one you must learn before you even set foot on the slopes. Your mindset is your most important tool in this environment. You have to be constantly aware, always observing, and ready to act. Complacency is a killer in the backcountry. You can't let the magnificent scenery lull you into a false sense of security. Every step you take, every slope you cross requires careful assessment. This is not a place for recklessness or ego. It is a place for humility, for knowledge, and for a deep-seated respect for the forces of nature. That respect, combined with the right skills, is what will bring you home safely from your adventure. It's the ultimate test of survival, and it begins long before the snow ever starts to slide. An avalanche is not just loose snow rolling down a hill, it's a force of nature with terrifying speed and power. Think of it as a river of snow, ice, and rock, moving faster than you can run. A slab avalanche, the most dangerous type for winter adventurers, happens when a cohesive layer of snow breaks away from the weaker layer beneath it. This massive block of snow can accelerate to speeds of over 130 kilometers per hour, about 80 miles per hour, in just a few seconds. That's actually faster than a cheetah. The force it generates can snap trees, destroy buildings, and of course, bury a person in moments. Understanding this incredible power is key to respecting the threat it poses. There are clear warning signs that the snowpack is unstable, and you must learn to read them like a book. Recent heavy snowfall, especially more than 30 centimeters, 1 foot, in a day, puts immense stress on the existing snow layers. Strong winds can also load slopes with fresh snow, creating dangerous, unstable slabs. Listen carefully for whumping sounds, a deep, collapsing noise that tells you the weak layer below is giving way under your weight. Look for shooting cracks that radiate out from your skis or snowboard. These are all red flags, the mountain telling you that it is not safe. Heed these warnings without question. Your life could depend on it. The slope's angle is another critical factor. Most avalanches occur on slopes between 30 and 45 degrees. This is, unfortunately, the same angle that is most appealing for skiing and snowboarding, which is why so many incidents involve backcountry enthusiasts. You should always carry an inclinometer, a simple tool to measure the steepness of a slope, and use it to make smart decisions about your route. Avoid terrain traps like gullies, creek beds, or the bottom of a steep face, as these are places where avalanche debris can pile up deep, making rescue incredibly difficult. Knowing where avalanches are most likely to happen helps you stay out of their path. Finally, always be aware of the temperature. A rapid rise in temperature, especially if it gets close to freezing, can weaken the bonds within the snowpack and increase the danger significantly. This is particularly true in the spring. Pay attention to the sun's effect on different slopes throughout the day. A slope that was stable in the morning might become hazardous by the afternoon. The mountain is constantly changing. By learning to recognize these signs, the recent weather, the sounds and cracks in the snow, the angle of the slope and the temperature, you are arming yourself with the knowledge to make life-saving decisions and avoid waking the sleeping giant. Venturing into avalanche country without the proper equipment is like going to sea without a life raft. It's an unacceptable risk. There are 3 pieces of gear that are absolutely non-negotiable for every single person in your group: an avalanche beacon, a probe, and a shovel. This is often called the holy trinity of avalanche safety, and for good reason. Your beacon, also known as a transceiver, is an electronic device that you wear on your body. When you're traveling, it transmits a signal. If someone is buried, the other members of the group switch their beacons to receive or search mode to locate the victim's signal. It's your lifeline. Your avalanche beacon is useless if you don't know how to use it proficiently. Practice is everything. Before your trip, and even at the trailhead, you and your partners should practice searching for a hidden beacon. You need to be fast and efficient, able to locate a signal and home in on it in minutes, not hours. Every second counts when someone is buried. Along with your beacon, you must carry a probe. This is a long, collapsible pole, kind of like a tent pole, that you use to pinpoint the exact location of a buried person once your beacon has led you to the general area. Probing correctly is a skill that saves precious time and energy during a frantic rescue. The 3rd piece of the trinity is a sturdy metal shovel. A plastic shovel will break against hard, compacted avalanche debris. Once you have located the victim with your beacon and probe, you need to dig them out. And this is the most physically demanding part of a rescue. Avalanche snow sets like concrete almost instantly, and you will need to move a massive amount of it as quickly as possible. Your shovel is your tool for this critical task. These 3 items, beacon, probe, and shovel, work together as a system. Having only 1 or 2 is not enough. You need all 3, and you need the training to use them effectively under extreme pressure. Beyond the essential trinity, there are other pieces of gear that can dramatically increase your chances of survival. An avalanche airbag backpack is one of the most effective. If you are caught in a slide, you pull a handle, and a large airbag inflates around your head and shoulders. This helps you stay on the surface of the moving snow through a process called inverse segregation, where larger objects rise to the top of a granular flow. It's like shaking a bag of potato chips. The big ones end up on top. A helmet is also crucial. Many avalanche fatalities are caused by trauma from hitting trees or rocks, not from suffocation. Protect your head. It's your most valuable asset. The moment the snow fractures around you is pure primal chaos. Your instincts will scream at you to freeze, but you must fight that urge and act decisively. The first thing you should do is shout, yell avalanche as loud as you can to alert everyone else in your party. Your warning could give them the precious seconds they need to escape the slide path or to switch their beacons to search mode. This simple act immediately turns your partners into your potential rescuers. They now know what has happened, and critically, they have a visual on your last seen point, which is vital information if you get buried. Don't be silent. Make your presence known. Your next move is to try and escape the avalanche's path. Do not try to outrun it by going straight down. It's moving far too fast. Instead, your goal is to get off the moving slab of snow. Try to move sideways, perpendicular to the flow of the slide. Fight with every ounce of your strength to ski, snowboard, or run towards the nearest edge of the avalanche. Even moving a few feet to the side could get you out of the main channel and into slower moving snow, or off the slide entirely. It's a desperate race, but it's your best chance of avoiding being swept away. Keep fighting to stay on your feet for as long as possible. If you're being pulled down, it's time to shed anything that could weigh you down or anchor you. If you have skis or a snowboard, try to get them off your feet. Modern bindings might release, but if they don't, fight to kick them off. Skis and snowboards act like anchors, pulling you deeper into the churning snow. You also need to drop any heavy gear you might be carrying. Get rid of your ski poles and your backpack, unless it's an avalanche airbag pack. In that case, your priority is to pull the trigger to inflate it. Reducing your weight and removing anything that can get tangled or drag you under is a critical step in staying near the surface. This all happens in a matter of seconds. It's a blur of snow, noise, and violent motion. You won't have time to think through a long checklist. That's why you must practice these responses and visualize them until they become second nature. Your mind needs to have a plan ready to execute without hesitation. Shout to alert. Move sideways to escape. Ditch your gear to stay light. These immediate actions, performed in the first few chaotic moments of a slide, can make the difference between a close call and a tragedy. It's about fighting back against the power of the mountain with quick, smart, and decisive action. Once the avalanche has you in its grip, your fight for survival enters a new, violent phase. You are now inside a turbulent, churning mass of snow that is trying to pull you under. Your primary goal is to do everything in your power to stay on or near the surface. The deeper you are buried, the lower your chances of survival. To stay afloat, you need to fight. Use a swimming motion like you're in a rough ocean. Thrash your arms and legs using a backstroke or freestyle motion. This agitation can help keep you from being pulled deep into the debris. Think of yourself as a cork in a river. Fight to stay on top. As you are being carried along, you must also protect your airway. Snow will be forced into your mouth and nose, and if it freezes there, it can form an ice mass that will suffocate you. Try to keep one hand in front of your face, cupped over your mouth and nose. This can create a small space for you to breathe and prevent snow from being packed in. At the same time, protect your head. If you can, get your other arm up over your head to shield it from impact with rocks, trees, or hard chunks of ice hidden within the slide. Trauma is a major killer in avalanches, so defending your head and your airway are your top priorities. The avalanche will eventually begin to slow down. This is a critical moment. As you feel the motion decreasing, you need to make one last, desperate effort to get to the surface. Continue your swimming motion, fighting upwards towards the light. More importantly, as the snow comes to a stop, you must try to create an air pocket in front of your face. Use your hands and arms to push a space around your mouth and chest. Once the snow settles, it can set as hard as concrete in seconds, trapping you in place. The small air pocket you create in these final moments of movement could provide the only air you have to breathe while you wait for rescue. This entire experience is incredibly violent and disorienting. It feels like being tossed around in a giant washing machine filled with concrete. It's terrifying, but you cannot give in to panic. You must keep your mind focused on these simple, life-saving actions. Fight to stay on the surface. Protect your airway and your head, and as it slows down, create that vital air pocket. These actions are your best and only chance to influence your own survival while the white dragon is carrying you down the mountain. Your struggle during the slide directly impacts your chances of being found alive. The moment the avalanche stops is both a relief and the beginning of a new, terrifying reality. The violent motion ceases, and you are plunged into an eerie, muffled silence. You are now entombed in snow. Panic is your worst enemy at this stage, as it will make you burn through your precious oxygen supply much faster. You must force yourself to remain calm. Take a moment to assess your situation. Can you move at all? Are you injured? The first thing to do is to figure out which way is up. The darkness and pressure can be completely disorienting. A simple trick is to spit or let some saliva dribble out of your mouth. Gravity will tell you which way is down, meaning the opposite direction is up, towards the surface and potential rescue. Once you know which way is up, your next action depends on how deeply you are buried. If you think you are very close to the surface, perhaps you can see a faint light or feel less pressure. Try to punch or dig your way out. Use one hand to push upwards, creating a channel to the surface. Do not waste energy by flailing wildly. Make slow, deliberate movements. If you can break through to the open air, you have saved yourself. However, if you are buried deep, trying to dig yourself out is often a futile effort that will only exhaust you and use up your oxygen. Avalanche debris is incredibly dense, and you will likely be trapped securely. In this case, your strategy must shift from self-rescue to conserving energy. Your survival now becomes a waiting game, and the key is to conserve oxygen. The air pocket you created is your lifeline. Breathe slowly and calmly. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Try to regulate your heart rate by focusing your mind. Think about your loved ones, a warm place, or anything that brings you a sense of peace. Avoid shouting unless you hear rescuers directly above you. Your voice will not travel far through the dense snow, and screaming will rapidly deplete your air supply. Save your energy for when it matters most. Your beacon is transmitting a signal, and your partners are hopefully on their way. Your job is to stay alive until they get to you. The mental battle is just as important as the physical one. It is easy to feel hopeless when you are trapped, immobile in the cold and dark. But you must not give up. Hope is a fuel that can keep you going. Trust in your partners and their training. Trust in your beacon. Focus on your slow, steady breathing. The average survival time for a completely buried victim is short, with the chances dropping dramatically after about 15 minutes. This is why the efficiency of your rescuers is so critical. But people have survived for much longer. Your calmness, your conservation of air, and your will to live can extend that window and give your rescuers the time they need to find you. While knowing how to survive an avalanche is critical, knowing how to avoid one in the first place is far more important. The safest avalanche is the one you never trigger. This begins at home, long before you even touch the snow. Always check the local avalanche forecast. Professional forecasters provide detailed daily reports on snowpack stability, danger ratings, and problem areas. This information is your first and most important tool for planning a safe trip. Heed their warnings and recommendations. If the danger rating is high or considerable, it might be a day to choose a different activity or stick to low-angle, simple terrain. Never let your desire for a specific objective override the clear warnings of the experts. Smart route selection on the mountain is your next layer of defense. As you travel, constantly assess the terrain around you. Avoid traveling on or underneath steep, open slopes, especially after new snow or wind. Look for safer routes through trees, as long as they are not too sparse, or on ridges. When you do have to cross a potentially dangerous slope, do it one person at a time. This minimizes the risk to the group. If one person triggers a slide, the others are in a safe position to perform an immediate rescue. Always keep an eye on each other and maintain spacing, but stay within visual and verbal contact. Good communication and smart travel habits are the hallmarks of an experienced backcountry team. Training is not optional, it is essential. Take an avalanche safety course. These courses, often called AST or AVI-1, teach you how to read terrain, understand snow science, and most importantly, practice rescue skills. You and your partners should be a well-oiled machine when it comes to a rescue scenario. Practice using your beacon, probe, and shovel regularly. Set up mock burials and time yourselves. Can you locate, probe, and start digging for a beacon within a few minutes? This proficiency can only be built through hands-on practice. Your life, and the lives of your friends, depend on your ability to perform these skills quickly and correctly under immense stress. Ultimately, survival in the mountains comes down to a combination of knowledge, respect, and preparation. Respect the power of the mountain and be humble enough to turn back when conditions are not right. Gain the knowledge to recognize danger and make smart decisions, and always carry the right gear and the skills to use it. The mountains offer incredible rewards, but they demand our full attention and our best judgment. By preparing properly, traveling wisely, and never underestimating the environment, you can enjoy the wild beauty of the backcountry and ensure you always come home to plan the next adventure. Stay sharp, stay safe, and respect the wild.